Hello and welcome to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Now, I sound like that because I caught a cold this week and lost my voice at some point. But that's not a big deal. The show must go on. After all, this is Africa. Even if you have a voice, that's no guarantee that you'll be heard. Anyway, to important issues now. Ugandans do not want an old president, and so Ugandan MPs resorted to behave like young ones to express themselves. You know what the sad part is? Baba ya mtu. The clip was longer than that, but that was my highlight. That guy's spirit was willing to stay in parliament, but his body was too weak. He was overpowered by external forces. When I watched that video, I was like, si mtu atutule jagwa kwa music industry hivi. And you see, I do not mean to distract. I don't mean to distract, but how comes no one is talking about the house? Ama hamkuona hizo viti, the Ugandan parliament. Yani, sisi tunangangana hapa kuspend 300,000 kubai kiti moja kwa parliament. Ugandan MPs wanakutana ndani ya forward travelers. Very simple. Yes, and it works. And it works. In fact, this image can pass for a parliament in Uganda. Hizo viti ziko sawa. If you look carefully, you'll see a speaker, and definitely there's an ongoing motion. All the drama in the Ugandan parliament was about the removal of the presidential age limit, which currently is set at 75. So wanataka kusongesha kwa sababu president amesha kwa karibu kuhit the target yenye walikuwa wamemsetia before. Now, we do not have that in Kenya. We only have the minimum age, which is 35. For what? How did they arrive at that? I always feel like this was just a trick to lock out akina Mustafa na Bobby Mapesa from having ideas. Now, Kenyans have this thing about giving the youth a chance. Maybe that's why they set it at 35. Something we do not even believe in. We don't even believe in the youth. When the older guys run for office, alafu Kenyans are sure they will not vote for them, tunambianga, we utaanguka saa 2 asubuhi. Ringtone, a youth and a gospel artist, vied for the Kitutu Masaba parliamentary seat in a by-election. Kumbe alikuwa ameangukia hapo mahali alipata hiyo idea. And before he running for office, when he thought, mazinaweza kuwa aliangukia hapo. Now, the subject of our show tonight is democracy. And before we even get into it, we'll first need to define democracy. And that depends on so many factors. Most of us only understand the first 4 letters of that word, demo. Now, there is democracy as a form of government and regular democracy. Regular democracy, very common. Pale nyumbani. Watoto mtakula nini? Chapati. Haya, boy, wekelea maji ya ugali. Si tumesema tunataka chapati. Mimi sijakataa. Nyinyi mkitaka kukula chapati, kuleni tu chapati. Lakini hii nyumba ni yangu. So chapati ni opinion. Mwenye anatoa pesa kwa hii nyumba, that is the budget controller. The controller of budget. Either way, amesema ugali ndio inapikwa. Mwenye ako na shida, atafute nyumba yake, apike chapati huko vile anataka, ama apeleke petition kwa baba yake. Coincidentally, that's how democracy as a form of government works. Majority have their way, minority have their say. Majority in that case ya chapati ni mwenye ako na pesa. Now, democracy as a subject relies heavily on a constitution. Our constitution, katiba yetu, is heavily borrowed from different countries, US na South Africa. Now, you see, that's the typical case here. You see something working for someone, hata wewe unataka kujaribu. Kama wale watu wa online shopping. But you cannot blame anyone for that. You can't. We are heavy borrowers. Our debt level, current debt level, national, is at 4 trillion and still counting. And the debt responsibility is at 95,000 shillings per person, including the unborn. As in, hata ule mtoto hajazaliwa ako na deni ya nduthi. How did we even convince the Chinese, of all people, that our unborn children can pay the debt? And the Chinese themselves have had a one-child policy for the longest time. As in, it was illegal in China to have more than one child. Kupata twins huko ilikuwa ni kama kushikwa na paper bag hapa Kenya sahi. And how did we convince them that watoto watalipa deni? Don't worry about that. I have faith in Kenyans. They can deliver and they can afford it. Do you know wako there? Now, these are just jokes. Mad respect to Madam Boss. Very few slay queens out there are half as proud as she is of her children. Now, the greatest cause to Kenyans comes from mistrust. This repeat election will cost Kenyans close to 11 billion shillings, mainly because we do not trust each other. But that's a subject for another day. But in the Kenyan election, we need so many things. We need agents, we need security features, we need angels to run the election so that dead people do not sneak in to the booth. We need observers. Observers kwanza. Observers have been described by someone kama wale wa mama wa ploti. Watakuona na wanakuonanga ukiingia kwa nyumba na msichana, lakini hawaonangi TV yako ikiibiwa. Very selective vision. Now, I don't even think the problem is our leaders. Nope. We are the problem. The constitution is also not the problem. We have a constitution, na bado tuko na hizi mashida zote. Let me tell you why we are the problem. We were colonized by Britain. And as it turns out, the country itself does not even have a written constitution, and it functions fairly well. Sometimes it feels like we only have a constitution so that politicians can have something to quote in interviews.
The constitution under Article 1.
If you read Article 1, Part 1 and 2.
The constitution says the running of the commission.
I think that's why we even have the constitution. It's like preaching, but secular. Imagine Germany, as big as it is and as developed as it is, do not have an electoral commission. Na tujaisikia wanafurugana juu ya siasa kama sisi ati election nini. For us, wacha tu, we have a commission for everything. Commission ndio zinatukula badala ya sisi tukule commission. We have the police, and then we have IPOA to ensure that the police do their job properly. Now we have the National Commission, the Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, to ensure that we do not hate each other beyond the limit. Like, hey, mtukanane tu lakini isi. Unajua, mtukanane with moderation. We have the Anti-Corruption Commission to regulate corruption. Yes, kuna corruption, but chezeni hapa. Unajua? Now, I almost felt sad because shida zetu mob ni za kujiletea. Until I learned that Ugandans recently created an anti-pornography committee. And then I was like, oh Lord, thank God our problems are presentable. Where? Here, zetu kumaliza ni rahisi. You only need to choose leaders of integrity. You are Uganda, you need divine intervention. They need to pray as a country. Now, this past election of the 2017 election, 2017 election, the past, present, continuous, and future election, is said to be a two-horse race between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable Raila Odinga. Game of Thrones fans have described the choices Kenyans have as these characters. Now, for those who do not watch Game of Thrones, what this means, in simpler terms, is that the options we have in the presidential elections ni kama uambiwe uchague the best musician in Kenya between SBJ, ule wa baba, nipe nyonyo, na Kagumo Lapa. And talking of choices, a cartoon, Donald Duck won enough votes to be, in theory, Sweden's most popular political organization in 1985. He was not even in the ballot. Watu ndio walimweka. Watu wanaenda wanajaza wanaweka. He performed better than Shakalaka Jirongo in present day. And get this. This was not an isolated incident where an unhuman was a notable candidate in a political contest. No. A cat has won a mayor position in Alaska. There was a dog that was a mayor in Minnesota. How do you even address the cat? Meow. Now, President wa Burundi pia nasikia ni mnyama. Now, hapa Kenya, a cartoon was once introduced in politics during the Hustlers Jet scandal in parliament. The drama almost hit the Ugandans' levels. But now, what we've not been able to define kabisa ni democracy. That's why we extend this conversation to the second part of the show, and we'll be right back with our guest, Shifa Okore, to help us break this down even further. Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Leo tunaongea siasa, and our guest is Shifa Okore, the Programs Officer Civic Engagements at Siasa Place. Karibu kwa show yetu.
Asante.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Programs Civic Engagement. That's why you have two engagement rings.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No, one is a weapon. Yeah.
So you unaweza fanya nayo mtu nini?
No, mtu akinisalimia like this, anasikianga inamdunga on the other way.
Mdunge basi tu. Acha nikuoneshe vile hiyo silaha yako ni bure.
I intend for it to be.
Oh.
It doesn't mean it already is.
Oh, your plan has failed kama ringtone. Now,
Thanks.
now basi unasikia niko na homa by the way.
Usiniambukize please.
Ni imetoka majuu. Ndio nilikuwa nataka kupea ofa kama unajisikia.
Hata mimi nimetoka majuu. Sitaki homa.
Ini homa from the streets.
Yangu mimi sitaki homa. I'm also from Europe. Sitaki.
It's illegal.
Tax yake nani alipea tax?
Mwenye aliniletea.
Okay. All right. Fine. I
Sasa,
surrender.
Aya. Our subject on the show leo ni politics. Siasa.
Yes.
Hiyo ni life yako. Siasa please.
Every day. Yeah.
What's your definition of democracy?
A rule of the people, for the people, by the people. Simple.
Hivyo tu.
Simple.
Do we have that in Kenya?
No. We never do. Because the people don't know that they rule. Because the people don't understand that when Article 1 speaks of sovereignty of the people, is absolute. They don't understand what sovereignty is. So, you know, we leave it, alafu tunaacha watu wanashangaa ni kwa nini hatuoni kama democracy inawaka. And you know, democracy is equal to demand. Like, it doesn't matter even if you elect an angel, you have to demand them to work.
An angel is
Mtu
an angel.
mzuri, hakuna angels, because we're dealing with human beings, we're dealing with flawed people. Human beings are flawed, unless wametoka binguni. But everybody who appears on the ballot, you know, even the good people who appear on the ballot, lazima ukwe unawauliza ile promise ulisema, hata kama walisema wanatupatia jets, unafaa kuuliza within 100 days wapi jet yangu. You know, and it has to be consistent. Ukiwaacha, they just do what they want to do. And then it becomes the rule of minority.
Nimenotice uko na personality mbili.
Really?
Ya Kiswahili na ya Kizungu.
I know, I'm trying.
A rule of the people for the people.
So I wanted to send the message. Was the message sent home?
Oh,
right?
Kuna personality ya message.
Yes.
Na personality ya
explanation.
A
Exactly.
rule of the people for the people for the people. Wakisema natuletea jet.
But everybody has different personalities. Hakuna mtu anakuanga na personality moja. Yes.
I spoke to Nerima before you came on the show, and before I contacted you, ulikuwa Germany.
Yes.
Kwenda ku-observe elections.
Yes.
And now it makes sense ulikuwa umeenda ku-observe elections. What's the difference between election yao na election yetu?
Everything. Like, first of all, the people themselves are so integral, and the people believe in the rule of law. As in, they have an option of, you know, we're assuming next week is an election, and then wewe utaki kwenda polling station. So you decide, just give me my ballot paper, I'll go and fill it in my house and email it or send it, via post. Can you imagine if Kenya, I gave you a ballot paper, fill it at home and then mail it to GPO. Do you know GPO will burn down?
Mtu anaenda na ballot paper.
Anaenda na ballot paper yake. In fact, unatumiwa mpaka unapigiwa simu na umepata ballot paper yako? Sawa. So utatutumia? Yes. That is one thing. And you see, for that kind of system to work, it has to be about the people who have integrity. There are polling stations, yani mpaka kuna Wi-Fi. Polling station kuna Wi-Fi, kuna juice, kuna pizza, kuna kuingia, anybody can get in.
Ulikuwa ku-observe election ama hoteli za huko?
No. Let me tell you. But they were saying, mimi napenda chakula. So when I was in the polling station, nimeona chakula, I was like, thank you, Jesus. I was happy. But the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I'm trying to make you understand that they don't make politics a do or die thing. That it is so humanized, that it is such a friendly environment where we can actually sit. Anybody passing through a polling station can come in. You don't have to be an official. You don't have to be counting the votes or like employed by them.
They don't have agents.
They don't even bother with those kinds of things. All they have is a commissioner. And this guy is the one who now talks to the returning officer. So returning officer anasaidiwa kuhesabu, by the way. So if assuming this is our county, I have been voted for, anybody can come in and say, nipe kura zake ni hesabu. Na unaanza tu kuhesabu. You don't have to know me. Unapewa tu.
Kila mtu ni Chebukati.
Kila mtu ni Chebukati. Ama Chiloba, you know, something like that. Like, it is so open. They don't doubt each other like we do. We walked into polling stations and we asked, which ones can we help count? To Kapewa, you want to count for CSU? Or you want to count for SPD? You want to count for AFD? And we were given. And he asks you, like the returning officer, ata ajali kama umecount the right thing, because he knows you understand that this is important. Like, he will just ask you, how many were those? How many were those? He doesn't even need to go back and do, you know, the system is so open. Like a day even before they went to vote, people are in hotels chilling, you know, it's our normal day. Not the way us, it's now a do or die day, there's tension, you know, there's hatred on social media. Media itself is now tense, you know, we have polling stations opening at this time. People are worried. Like, I swear to God, it is, I was shocked.
So basically, if we had respect for our structures, we wouldn't need kubahizo ma BVR kits.
We wouldn't need. Imagine they have one ballot paper and I may split you into 2. And they can afford. Sisi tuko na sijui 7 colorful ones na bado zinapotea.
Hiyo tu kwanza niliambiwa hiyo ya kuweka vidole, and it's a very sad story, hiyo biometrics. Kuna wale wasio kuchimba mawe. The quarry guys. So mawe imefuta fingerprints. Alafu imebakisha nini residue ya mawe. So mtu akiweka kwa ile BVR kit ina reflect nyumba.
Oh my God, I swear.
Azim.
Oh wow.
Unafikiria in future tutajipata tuna respect? Because the problem is not the system, the problem is the people.
Yeah.
Now that we are here.
Yeah.
We know the problem is fixing ourselves.
Yes.
What do you think it takes to fix us? Let's not talk about fixing the system.
Yeah.
Fixing us.
Fixing us inaanza na kitu moja.
Yes.
We have to have collective responsibility. We have to be responsible for other people, not just us. Unaona mtu anarobiwa in traffic, kila mtu anafunga dirisha ndio wana lock mlango. You see, nobody bothers to even ask, like, or even try to scare the thief or something.
That's understandable.
That is not understandable.
It is,
you know
because
what happens? Mimi nishaisimamia mtu na mimi hata sina nguvu ya kupigana.
Uko na ring. Hiyo ya kufunga dirisha ni kwa sababu ni kama wale waswa gazeti za free, ukifungua dirisha anakurushia, si ndio? So ukifunga dirisha, it's about the thief. That's a message that you are not interested.
No.
Like aujiski.
We need to fix us. Fixing us has to come from us. Have you ever imagined even our leaders wasimame tu kwa podium and they speak about issues without calling mama yako, brother yako, your auntie, all these things? It always degenerates into that kind of language. Because why? We have let them. Because we allow them, because we make them think the reason why they need to work harder is the struggle for the person who can to see the other person better. Yes. And we cheer and we're excited. And then you're wondering, they're not talking about you. They're not talking about the fact that our wanaenda nyumbani in guarded homes with 6-meter walls, with cooks and chefs and chauffeurs. Natembe ukienda nyumbani unaenda kuibiwa.
You actually have a clip of you ukipasha au ma MPs.
There is nothing about honor without the fact that it is a role, not a title. You do not talk about I am an honorable member and you have not done one damn honorable thing. You don't do that. And for me, it infuriates me because it is the thing we fight about, women representation. We are lacking that even now. And you're talking about money and you're talking about you want to be paid something that is honorable to you in a country where we still cannot maneuver if it rains a little bit, in a country where people cannot afford food, in a country where 40-something% is unemployed, and you're a woman, and now we all agree there's no NASA, there's no Jubilee, we are all talking about money. This is nonsense. Who are these people, by the way?
Hiyo ni personality yako ya sidebar. And I also noted that look. What was that look?
It is the spirit of Moses. It is a divine spirit.
So for the remainder of the show, naweza kuita Mose.
Yes.
Endelea.
So I was saying there are things we can't talk lightly about, and that was that clip about. Because I find it very infuriating when I walk around and I see able young people who are worthy of employment, who are worthy of earning a living and having decent lives. And these are people scavenging, walking every day as if kutafuta kazi ni kazi. You see, and it is okay, and people have accepted it. Like young people, the future will come. Inakuja tu, your future is tomorrow, you are leaders of tomorrow. And this lie, it's being peddled everywhere. And then the same leaders come and promise these young people who are struggling. Meanwhile, it is these young people who they stand on to get to where they do politically, sindio? And then they come back and they say, mi nataka nipewe pesa mingi, or I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Give people one more thing that makes sense about politics and democracy.
Can I read a quote?
Yes.
That summarizes everything. It's by George Carlin, and it says, now there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about, the politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Well, where do these people come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to have selfish, ignorant leaders.
Hiyo ni information poa sana ya kudigest for this show. Alafu I hope sasa tukikuita for another show utakam to cover your story.
Absolutely.
Sana sana siasa ni poa sana. But mimi nitaambia wase leo before we end it, ndio. Ni shindeni hapo Jubilee na NASA, Jubilee na NASA. Na sisi tuko pamoja. Tuko pamoja na TBIM. Tuko pamoja na TBIM. Yet the problem ni nyinyi mnaweza fix. Ni sisi tunaweza fix.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Sindio?
Awesome.
High five.
Yay, usinipe homa please.
Hii ni homa ya majuu.
I don't want it.
Serious?
Thanks.
You can try it.
I don't.
Kama ni mbaya
I
utanirudishia.
refuse. I refuse.
That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.